Right, yes now people, welcome back to James Redmond TV, and Liverpool have got it's a weird game against Crystal Palace. Like, I don't really know how to describe it because it's not easy, but like at the same time it's not really a bogey team anymore. Does that make sense? Especially when we used to go to Palace, mate, that was not a nice place to go to for many different reasons and on many different occasions. That being said, we beat Palace in our last 6 games, our last 6 visits. Against Crystal Palace, and also as this is at Selhurst Park, we've never lost at that stadium under Jurgen Klopp. So when you put it like that, it's kind of like that what is it? That myth of Crystal Palace being a bogey team is kind of one of them. That being said, they are the last team to have beat us at Anfield in the league, but at the same time, it's like that was at Anfield. This is at Selhurst Park. Also, though, another thing that has to be taken into consideration, and obviously in the preview we're going to be doing a lineup prediction and stuff like that. You should know if you come on the previews often enough. But one thing that's going to take a factor in this game is Liverpool's away form recently. It's not been great. It's not been fantastic. Let's be real. I think this was the last time I checked, and this was maybe a week ago or just under a week ago, and Liverpool was 16th in the away league table. So even if we win this game, let's be honest, we're only going to go slightly higher than that, and that's still poor. We shouldn't be in the bottom 10. We should be in the top half comfortably when it comes to away form. So that's one thing that Palace are going to need to take, and they're going to need to take. Just because if Palace can take any positives going into a game against Liverpool, it's got to be that. We're a different team away from home, or at least we have been pretty much since fans have been out the stadium. I think that's fair to say. Even before the fans left, we were still doing well away from home, and I think it was because of that little support and that little bit of noise. Even look at the performance against Tottenham. Jose Mourinho can come out after that game and be like, "Hey, we played better than you. We played better than you," or however the fuck he speaks to Jurgen Klopp. He can come out and say all that, but stats showed a completely different thing to Jose Mourinho. I actually get what Mourinho was trying to say in a sense that, his game plan was working for 90 minutes of that game. And then obviously Bobby got the goal. But the thing is, Bobby still got the goal, so your game plan didn't work in the end. And Jurgen Klopp beat you to it. That's just how it is. By the way, shout out Jurgen Klopp, my manager, best manager in the world. By the way, rightly so. Some people could say the Bayern Munich manager. If you ask me, I think it could have been any one of them. Jurgen Klopp has done great things for his own reasons, and it depends. Do you think that the manager of the year, and I'll get back into the Palace game in a sec, but do you reckon that the manager of the year should be the person who won the Champions League? Like, should it just be that, or should more factors be taken into consideration? Because if so, I think what Jurgen Klopp's achieved to this point is fantastic. To be top of the league with these injuries and also winning the league as comfortable as he did, probably that. That being said, Bayern Munich are a dominant force and have been this year, and we're talking about this year. But anyway, back into the game, people. The main threats that I want to talk about for Crystal Palace, obviously you've got to start off on the main man, Wilfried Zaha, most likely going to be in the thumbnail of this video as well. 7 goals, 3 assists this season for Crystal Palace in all competitions. Mate, he's just serious. Let's just be real. His pace, his directness, and he's the man there. So they give the ball to him, they feed in the ball. People say, what would a player like Zaha do, or what would a player like Grealish do in a bigger team? Grealish is actually a bit of a different example, I won't use him. But Zaha, how would he do in a bigger team? He probably wouldn't do as great because he wouldn't stand out as much. He's still a great player, and he would play better around better players. But that doesn't mean he'd be given the plaudits that he's given now at Crystal Palace, because he is literally the main man there. Any man with a sense of pace in their team, don't get me wrong, they've got Eze as well, but I'll talk about other players. Any man they've got with a sense of real proper pace, Zaha's the main man. So you've got to watch out for him. Another player that you've got to watch out for is Eze, their left mid. He's actually more a central attacking midfielder, but he's playing on the left for Crystal Palace. Listen, mate, he's a baller. Just someone that you need to watch out for. And he's going to be able to cause whoever plays on that right-hand side, whether it's Trent, whether it's Nico, he's going to be able to cause them problems. It's not going to be an easy game for the fullbacks. I'll tell you one player, though, who I'm absolutely... Oh, mate, I'm buzzing this player isn't playing. Christian Benteke, he can go and suck a toe for all I care. Mate, I'm so happy he's suspended for this game. Literally the perfect case as well. Because I never wish injuries on anyone. But with the form that he's been in over the past 3 games, let's just be fucking real and let's get one thing clear. He was going to score against us. Oh, he was going to score in this game. You know he was. He was the last person to beat us at Anfield, and he done it single-handedly. And he celebrated with Sakho, the twat. And Sakho won't be playing this game. But Sakho's dead food now, though. Let's just be real. Sakho hasn't... Sakho is just one of them, like, it just never went well for him, did it? You know what I mean? And he's also a doubt for this game, but even if he weren't a doubt, I think they probably play Kouyaté and Cahill anyway. So great thing that Benteke isn't available. But another person I've got to bring up, they've also got other good players, like Nathaniel Klein, he'll be coming and playing against us again. But David Guita, he's another player that I've got to talk about because, mate, he, against Spurs, he was the one who saved Palace the point. It was mad. He saved them the point, there's no doubt about it, and some of the world-class saves he made in that game, and with how Liverpool haven't been able to take their chances, we're going to need to be clinical, because it looks like he's on form. Anyway, people, that's the threats to do with Palace done. My dog better not start barking. Ruby, shut up and go away. Go away now, because if he starts barking while I'm going to be fucking recording, I'm going to fume. Anyway, my lineup prediction, people, make sure that you leave in the comments down below who you think's going to start as well, because I'm very interested. I think this is quite an easy one though. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm being a bit too conceited, you know, that's why on this channel everyone is welcome to an answer. But I'm going with a 4-3-3 standard. In goal, Alisson, because Kelleher doesn't start this game. I've kind of made my point clear that when Alisson's fit he starts. Right back, Trent or Nico, do you rest Trent or do you give Nico a game? Nico was on form just before. I think you play Trent. Like I said, I understand he hasn't had the greatest of games, but I thought defensively he looked very, very good against Tottenham. And I think now he's finding his feet a bit more. He's getting that match fitness back. Before that match fitness, don't get me wrong, it was worrying watching Trent. Fulham never had a great game. Few games that he's been a bit off this season. This has probably been, maybe it's safe to say, his worst start to a season since he's become a starter. And it's not been good defensively. Offensively, still the great Trent Alexander-Arnold. But in this game, we're going to need someone who's going to be solid defensively. And I think with minutes and with consistency of minutes, Trent can be the man today. Put in a solid performance like he did against Spurs. Anyway, left back Robbo, no questions asked. Shimikas is injured anyway. Centre backs, if Matip's fit, you go with Matip, don't you? But I don't mind seeing the B-Tech Van Dijk there, Reece Williams, and I'm calling them the B-Tech Van Dijk. And listen, if you're any tech of Van Dijk, whether it's D-Tech, F-Tech, Z-Tech, mate, if you're anything of Van Dijk, then you just put respect on your name because you're being compared to the man himself. So I'm not disrespecting Reece Williams when I say you're the B-Tech or C-Tech, Virgil van Dijk. I'll be happy to see him play next to Fabinho, obviously, if Matip isn't available. So my back five would be Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Robbo, Fabinho, and Matip if he's fit, but Reece Williams, as that's more likely to be the case. Anyway, midfield, I'm going to go with Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, and also Naby Keita. That's the name that's being put on here, but I'm not going with Naby Keita. I'm going with my man Curtis Jones. That's going to be my midfield three. You don't fix what's not broken. Curtis Jones, Gini, and Jordan Henderson. They're looking like that. They're building something there. I don't know what it is as well, because you've got Jordan Henderson, who's kind of the leader. He's the vocal point, and he kind of dictates quite a lot of what happens in our midfield. But Gini Wijnaldum is another player like that. But then you've got Curtis Jones, who has been the standout of even them two over the past couple of games. Even Fulham, Curtis had a great game, and then against Tottenham, man of the match. Mate, Curtis Jones is another level. Like I said, he makes me look like a dog's left bollock. We're the same age. Look at me, look at him. I'm in a cupboard. This is a cupboard that I'm sitting in. He's balling. Balling. Like, he's serious, Curtis Jones. And he's undroppable. I think that's the only way you can kind of think of it. He's undroppable. And he's boss, mate. He's quality. Anyway, moving in the front three, I'd have to put on the left-hand side, even though some people might suggest drop this player, some people, by the way, someone came walking past, which is why I went like that. I'm not just like doing that today, just no nonsense, you know what I mean? Left wing, I'd go with Mane, not being in great form recently, but that's only really because of the fact that even though he hasn't been in great form, he's still been contributing in terms of his work rate. And I know that shouldn't be the be-all and end-all of what gets you into a team, but he's still being offered on that side of things, and you can't ignore that, in my opinion. And I do think a goal's coming. He hit the bar against Spurs, and I think if he did it, he scored that goal, and listen, if buts maybes, I think people, probably give him an 8 or 9, and people are like, oh my God, he's back. Because overall, he didn't have a bad game against Spurs. He didn't look shit. Like, he looked he looked hungry, and he was coming up against a very, very good right-back in Aurier, who also had a solid game in my opinion. But yeah, Mane on the left, Salah on the right, and then in the middle, Bobby Firmino. Yeah, that's got to be my team. That's the team that I go with. Let me know in the comments down below what you're saying. But people, this is a massive game. And I said this about Spurs, said this about Fulham, but you can't go and beat Spurs in what is a huge game before the end of, in terms of the whole season. I don't care if it's December. Remember Liverpool and City, every game's important. Maybe in hindsight, maybe when it gets to May, maybe it wouldn't have been important. Maybe we'll be gone, or maybe Spurs will be gone, or maybe Chelsea will have found a way to overtake us both. All I'm trying to offer to you is, we don't know that right now, therefore that is a must win. You don't know if Spurs are going to be able to keep up with us. Jose Mourinho's got them properly set up. You saw it against us. They had a plan. But it's also a mixture of mind games. Mourinho knows he's not out the title race. He knows it's going to be difficult to stay in it, but he knows he's not out of it. So any 3 points we can get right now, boss. And with the fact Spurs, even though they've just, lost to us and they dropped points against Palace, even though they should have won that game really, there is a chance that Spurs could find a little struggle of form here. They've hit a roadblock. How can they overcome that? Because this is a new team, might have a great experienced manager, might have some world-class players like Son and Kane, but sometimes them world-class players aren't enough. Remember Sturridge and Suarez in 13-14? That season, say what you want about Sturridge, but that season they were both world-class. Some of the best forwards in the world. Suarez was the best forward in the world that season. Sturridge was another level as well. But it didn't get us over the line because, one, we didn't have an assembled team that had experience. And we didn't know that every game was essential. But also a bit of a different case because it got to the end game of that season. Obviously, fucking Palace was one where we were 3-0 up and then it ended up being 3-3. But that's what I'm saying about Spurs. Even though they're edging results in games, there's also going to be the odds 1 or 2 where it might not go their way. And it's a weird one when you're Spurs. But yeah, I'm just keeping one eye open with Spurs. But back onto Palace with a score prediction. And I only brought up all that, by the way, because I think it's relevant to the point that every game's a must-win from now, and we need to just, injuries, yeah, man, but we're still going for the league, do you know what I mean? Just, injuries shouldn't be talked about when you're still going for the league. We know that we've got the injuries, and we still believe we can win the league without them, so every game's a must-win. As for this one, it's away from home, so I don't think it's going to be a whitewash, don't get me wrong, but I do think Liverpool are due a good performance away from home, so I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to say a clean sheet because I do think Palace, listen, they have a solid defence. Van Aanholt, Klein. Shout out to Nathaniel Klein. I actually wish he was still at Liverpool. But the centre-backs as well, like Cahill and Kouyaté, we can break them down. Don't get me wrong, Kouyaté's has had a great couple of games and also a great couple of months. Well, actually, not a couple of months, couple of years for Crystal Palace now, especially at the back. He's a presence, he's dominant, he's big. But with the pace of Mane and Salah, I feel like we can exploit that. With the fact Firmino is now looking on form, I feel like we can exploit that. But anyway, people, I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And shout out to all the support that's been coming on the channel over the past few weeks. You're all legends. Make sure you subscribe to join the Redmond army as well. That's how you're an official member. If you want to be an official member, just click subscribe and then Redmond army, you're a part of it. Anyway, people, peace out.